everyone, Sophia here, My Great Challenge. Welcome back to my Etsy shop, Frenchy and Tubby. Link up here and down below. I have 7 new items I am putting in the shop tomorrow. That would be April 19th at 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this item actually. I was cleaning them up and measuring and everything. I says, ooh, there's quite a lot I would keep for myself. Let's start with the one in the thumbnail, which is what I usually do. We're going to talk about piano babies. These are Arnott, Japan piano babies, and they're from the 50s. Now I'm sure you've heard me talk about piano babies in the past, and I always promise a story about them. But today's the day. Okay, first I gotta put my glasses on because I need to make sure that I am in focus. Okay, piano babies. You know, back in the days, formal education for ladies was piano. So pretty much everybody knew how to play the piano, and it was kind of like expected for a lady to know how to play the piano. Church songs and classics. Magazines like Ladies' Home Journal and Home and Garden magazines, even as early as the 1800s, okay, used to have at the end a couple of sheet music because it was understood that the ladies would practice the piano at home. So every month when the magazine would come out, they would have new songs to play. So everybody had a piano, but a piano is also a dust collector. So women, when they were not using the piano, used to have a silk shawl, a very long, you know, with the fringe and everything. So those were also a specialty item that you can still find in some antique shops. They could either be a plain color, a solid, or they were embroidered. But the purpose of it was to drape over your piano to make sure that it would not collect all sorts of dust, in particular if you had a baby grand or a grand piano. But silk, as light and beautiful as it is not a very stable fabric to place on top of stuff. A little bit of wind, a breeze, people passing by, the weight of the fringes, it would very often slide off the piano and fall on the floor. So enter piano babies. You would place them on top of your grand piano as decorative items, and they would hold the silk scarf in place. So that's the story behind piano babies. They had larger ones, smaller ones, pairs like this one. This is a boy and a girl. They had seated ones. They had crawling ones. They had upside down ones that we know with their feet in the air. They are the cutest little thing. I love piano babies. I don't own any. I don't have a grand piano. But you can use them as decorative items. So these are from 1950s. They're from Arnott, Japan. They have some damage. And you know me, I don't like to put things up in the shop that is damaged. But I couldn't pass on those because they are so darn cute. Let's look at a close-up of baby number 1. And that would be a boy. Look at this darling face. Isn't he the sweetest little thing? So this one has no crazing. Color is intact, no discoloration. He's wearing a little robe with the blue little ribbon in the back. But he does have a tiny chip right here on, I believe it's on his pinky toe. I don't know if you can see it. Right here. Porcelain bisque. So there's a satin finish. Blue eyes. Hand painted, really cute. Now the girl is the one that has the most damage. We're going to start with the most evident one, and I think you can see it. Come on, stay focused. She's got a lot of crazing, and the crazing that you see is basically the upper part of the glaze, of the satin glaze, that kind of breaks. But it's not chipping off. It's like hairline little cracks. And you're probably going to see it better in the pictures. And then the most damage is fingers. She's missing her little pinky right here. And she's missing a little bit of her other pinky. So these are the damages on my little piano babies. But she is the cutest. Look at her. Look at her darling little face. All right, so I'm in focus. Let's put them side by side. Look at this, guys. Don't mind the sound, okay? It's still cold up here in northern New Jersey, even though we are past mid-April, and my furnace is still running. What you hear is the gurgling of my oil tank. They both signed U5649. 49 is the year. Model 56 by Arnott, Japan. They are adorable. I love them. Okay, moving on. I love this. It's a pottery turtle, y'all. But it's not any pottery turtle. It's an adorable pottery turtle. So I know that I have people who collect turtles. I know I have people who collect pottery animals. This one has... I don't know how to describe his face. So we named him Henry, by the way. So introducing Henry. He's going to be in the shop starting Friday at 5 p.m. He's entirely handmade and hand painted. He's got a really nice shell, beautiful gradient color, but the face, look at he's got a cartoon face, kind of like a little perplexed. I love him. I love him. So here's Henry's up for adoption. It's a very nice little garden turtle. So what you do with this? Well, if you collect them, you know exactly what to do with them. It's either going to go in your curio on a shelf, or you keep him as a garden companion. If you have a patio, you put him in a pot next to a plant, and he's like a little surprise every time you look at your plants. Or you put him on your shelf on your patio that has like little succulents or whatever. It's a decorative Henry. He's the cutest thing. Another cute thing. And he's really well made, by the way. All right, so let me give you close-ups on Henry. Look at his face. He's really cool. Love Henry. So he's not signed, so I cannot tell you who made him. But I can tell you that I love him. I would definitely keep Henry. When I come back, 2 more. Okay, this is fabulous. This is fabulous. What a find. Look at this thing. Okay, so first of all, I love ginger jars. I think ginger jars are super elegant, very feminine. They are the prettiest thing. You can remove the top and use it as a vase. Okay, you don't have to use it as a ginger jar. Obviously, this was meant as decorative. So what is this thing? Well, you can tell from the design and the overall quality and the shine on this gloss that this is high quality. And high quality it is. This is Hamersley fine bone china from England. The pattern is minuet. Now, what's the big deal about Hamersley and how old is this thing? It's quite old. It's older than me. Hamersley was a china company from England, from the region of Stoke-on-Kent. And this is where they have a lot of the porcelain makers, Stoke-on-Kent in England. And they started in the late 1800s. And then in 1966, they were purchased by Copeland. So this is Hamersley. So this is prior to 66. And in 1970, Copeland itself was purchased again by none other than Spode. So this is the grandfather of Spode, I guess we could say that. The pattern is by a Frederick Howard, and it is actually signed right here, F. Howard. And it is a spray of flowers. It's transferware, it's not hand painted, with 24 karat gold. It says Hamersley fine bone china made in England at the bottom. The pattern was created very early on. I think this is early 60s because they didn't make the ginger jar and the little accessories up until the late 50s for that particular pattern. You can find the matching china, by the way, from Hamersley and that minuet design. or pattern. You can find the plates, the soup tureen, the platters, the teacups, the teapots, coffee pots, vegetable bowls, you name it. And then later on, they started making the accessories. So you're going to see the clocks and the vases and the decorative bowls and the cake platters and things like that. So this is just stunning. Let me give you a close-up so you can see the design on this. Pattern minuet. Beautiful early summer flowers. Look at the top right here of that lid. And again, this is fine bone china. So the porcelain has no defect. It doesn't have any bubbles, nothing. This is not a crude type porcelain. It's fine bone china. It's stunning. I would totally keep it. If only I had an extra room. This is what I need. I need a pretty room in my house for all this stuff. I would totally collect ginger jars. There's a thing about it, and I'm going to give you a little history of Sophia. My first ginger jar I purchased during a trip in England in 1984. We went to I can't remember the name, the Crystal Palace, I think that's what it's called. It's by the sea. It's a huge greenhouse that you go and visit. It's Victorian stuff, and they had a garden center and a gift shop, and I wanted to buy something for my mother, and I bought a Chinese looking ginger jar that was yellow with all sorts of swirls or whatever in green and blue. I have no idea what happened to it, but that was my very first ginger jar, and I was 14 years old, and yes, I aged myself. I love them, and I have several one of those ginger jar shape as lamps in my house, you know that. Okay, the next item, a classic Old Country Roses by Royal Albert. And this is not Royal Dalton, this is Royal Albert. It says right here, Royal Albert. So this is actually 1962 Royal Albert Old Country Roses. If you don't know, Old Country Roses is my wedding china, but it's also the most sold pattern in the world when it comes to china. And guess when they created it? 1962. It's been around since the early 60s. And this is a vase that they started making. It has a little bit of, I don't know if you see it, like a pattern right here on the white, fine bone china. It has the roses as bouquets on top, and then throughout all around single roses. I love Old Country Roses. It's such a pretty pattern and timeless. Okay, obviously people like it because it's, again, the most sold pattern in the world. So this was part of the original set, and then later on Royal Dalton and Royal Albert started making way more of those little items, you know, clocks and special teacups and platters you put on the wall. And what else there was? I used to have the clock that was shaped like a teapot. Trinket boxes that were heart-shaped or whatever, but those were not made in England. This is made in England, and this is Royal Albert, 1962. It's a bud vase, 24 karat gold, pristine condition. Hey, perfect gift for Mother's Day. Okay, so is the ginger jar. So here's something interesting, because it's not vintage. Well, it's from 1998. It's not vintage yet, but it's by Namb, and I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they are a modern crystal maker, and it comes in the box. Obviously it's going to be brand new, but you can see there's like some damage right here on the box, right? But what are they? They are very unique. They're called Planar, Planar, votive candle holders. They are very modern looking. They are brand new. They still have all of the stickers on, and this is crystal. Solid blocks of crystal. Let me remove the candle. Okay. Sign Namb here, and the box contains 3 of those. Now, I fell in love with this when I saw them because they remind me of Baccarat. And I know that it's not Baccarat, I get it, it's not nowhere near the prestige of Baccarat. But I used to work the Baccarat shop at the Galeries Lafayette in Paris. And there was a lot of Baccarat items that look just like this. It says, Namb, Design Your Life. Namb's award-winning designs are featured in a museum of modern art and 23 permanent museum collections worldwide. This full lead crystal is handcrafted by European masters. And then on the other side, you can remove the stickers, by the way. Do not allow the candle to burn. Okay, we all know how to practice candle safety. So there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, and they're heavy. Okay, so take that into account for shipping. What do you do with these? Well, you can have them separate, you know, throughout your living room, dining room, or you can put them side by side and do a centerpiece with them, or you can line them up on your mantle. And by the way, I'm going to show you something. So you can put a tea light candle in them, right? But you can also put a larger pillar type candle. Matter of fact, I'm going to measure that for you. You can put a candle all the way up to 3 inches inside those little planner candle holder. And again, they come in the box. So if you don't mind gifting them with a box that has a little bit of damage to it, another great Mother's Day gift. The box still comes with its little card. They are kind of functional, to be honest. They're very non-fussy. Very nice. Okay, so it's a set of 3 Namb planner crystal candle holders. Next one. Oh, I'm trying my very best, okay? My very best to not keep this. Who's my favorite potter? My favorite company? Well, you all know it's Hager, okay? So I spotted this and I had to grab it. 1950s, 15-inch, rectangular, scalloped planter in my favorite Hager glaze. Why am I not keeping this? It's a windowsill planter. So it's got scallops, so you can put 1, 2, 3, 4 plants if you want. It's perfect for succulents. Everybody's got succulents now. It's like the one house plant that everybody wants. I killed them. I can't keep them, so whatever. If you're good at succulents, this is for you. But you can also use it as a centerpiece, and you can also put it on your mantle, or you can put it on a console table. It's beautiful. It's my favorite glaze by Hager. It's the same glaze that my Madonna's. It's a white satin. It's heavy. It's Hager pottery. It says right here, Hager pottery. The number is 3654. 54 is the year it was made. So this is from 1954. It's got really tiny, let me give you a close-up. I don't even think you can see them. Little flea bites right here. Once you have your plants in there, you won't notice. But there's no hairline crack. It's the integrity of the planter is not compromised. It's stunning. It's very simple, minimalist. Okay, if you're into that minimalist look, this one's for you, because there's no design, nothing. It doesn't interfere with anyone's decor. It's fooded, but again, it is a planter, so there's no holes. You got to put, if you're going to have succulents in there, you either keep them, you either put the gravel or whatever it is that they put in. Obviously, I'd suck at succulent. I have no idea how you grow them. All I know is that I kill them when I have one. So I think you put gravel or whatever at the bottom, or you just put individual pots, and this will drain once in a while. You just got to pull out your pots and clean it. Or if you want to do floral arrangements, you put the foam, right? The florist foam at the bottom, either wet or the dry foam, and you make your little bouquet. This is really cool. Really, really cool. I love this. I put it on my mantle for a couple of days. And then I said, you know what? Just put it up for sale. Like, because I would want one that's a little bit more fussy. That's why. Okay. When I come back, last item, which is awesome. You know, back in the days, everybody smoked. In the 40s, 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Pretty much everybody smoked. If you watch old movies, women are smoking, men are smoking. People used to smoke at the office. I used to work in New York back in 1998 when I started my internship. You could smoke in your office, all right? Let me tell you, we would just like go through a whole pack at the end of the day. Then some people started complaining, so we had a smoking room. And then people started complaining that there was a smoking room, and we became totally smoke-free. But that was like 2005, maybe 2006. Now I can tell you it was 2009. So everybody smoked, and smoking was part of American culture. Remember the Marlboro Man? Okay. And doctors would actually recommend smoking. Chesterfield, #1 recommended by doctors. There was a big marketing thing to have doctors tell you that, yeah, smoking is awesome. We know better, but because of that culture in the 50s, they included smoking paraphernalia in pretty much everything. So if you're a collector of ashtrays, that's probably your best decade, between 40 and 50, with regards to really fun ashtrays, because they did some really crazy stuff for the ashtrays. But they also included smoking and eating and snacking and drinking. Hazel Atlas, glassmaker, invented and created the sip, snack, and smoke luncheon set. Talk about history. This is crazy. This is nuts. I love it. So what is it? Well, you know, luncheon plates or snack plates, tea plates, whatever you want to call them. You would have, you know, the ladies coming into your house, and you would serve a little cucumber and shrimp sandwich with a cup of tea or coffee, and you would give them a platter or plate that they would hold, and it would have the space for the sandwich or the scone and a little slot for the coffee cup or the teacup so that it wouldn't slide all over the place. So it was basically a very large saucer that allowed you to put your sandwich on. So this is the same thing. It's a bar and candle wick pattern. I'm going to show you the candle wick in a second. These are actually square. Really cool. So you have the little slot for your coffee cup, right? But on the other side is the ashtray. You can't make this up. I'm going to give you a close-up. Okay. So over here we have the slot for the coffee cup, and over here we have the ashtray. And how do I know it's an ashtray? Because it's got the little slot right here. Let me get a pen where you let your cigarette rest, or your cigar. It's mostly cigarette. So how about having your ashes right next to your ham sandwich? What a concept. I love this. So they're very heavy. They're from the 50s. I'm going to show you the candle wick pattern. You can probably see it right here, right? And you have it right here at the handle with the bar design. And I have 4. Okay, so here's 1, 2, and then trust me, there's 4. It's kind of hard to juggle. The cups themselves are really interesting looking because they are round on top but square at the bottom. I love this. This is Americana 101. I mean, you can't make this up. Like, so you're going to a barbecue with your friends and you're basically smoking, putting your cigarette, smoking. I used to smoke. You don't know that. Maybe some of you do. I smoked for 25 something years. Anyway, and you put your cigarette down, have your coffee, and then switch hands. Ham sandwich. I love it. What do you do if you still have food and coffee and your ashtray's full? I don't know. I don't know, but this is great. So Hazel Atlas glass in absolute perfect condition. Candlewick bar, we're going to call it the Candlewick bar. Actually, it's got a pattern number, I think it's 1305. I'll put it in the description on the website when I post them. I think it's 1305, and it's from the 50s. I had a conversation with ladies, smoking and putting your cigarette back in your plate. I can't. It's awesome. Okay. Clearly, I get excited about the weirdest thing. And it's well made too, by the way. It's very well made. So here are the other three. So I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a very heavy box. So depending where you live, take that into account, because this is going to be like a good 10, 12 pounds. It's heavy glass. All right, what would I keep? Absolute yes. I would absolutely keep this. I would absolutely keep this. And the piano babies are super cute, but without a grand piano or a baby grand or a piano, you know, like a, what you call it, the standing piano, you know, no point. I would love to keep the turtle and the sip, snack, and smoke set. Just for kicks. It's so cool. Now, listen, if you don't smoke, but you want to use them, you know what you can do? That little ashtray compartment, you put your condiments in it. You put your ketchup for your fries, or you put your sliced pickles, or you put your Hawaiian bread there, separate from the food. I don't know. So many different things you can do with that. You don't have to use it as an ashtray. I just thought it was like a novelty item. And I don't know if there was a common thing to do. You're hearing the garbage truck. It's very early. Again, I'm filming around 7 a.m. I apologize for that. Okay, that's it. These are the 7 items coming up this week, Friday the 19th at 5 p.m. in my shop. Again, when you go on the website for Etsy, link up here and down below. If you don't see the items right away, you can filter by most recent, or you go directly into categories. So the vase and the piano babies and the ginger jar and the crystal will be in vintage decorative items. The turtle will be obviously in pottery. The planter will be in vintage planters, not necessarily in pottery, but in vintage planters. And the Hazel Atlas Smoker's Delight will be in vintage kitchen. So that would be it. Give me a thumbs up if you liked these items. I'm looking forward to seeing them in your home. And that would be it. Subscribe right here in the corner if you don't want to miss another one of those little previews, and check out the rest of my channel, because it's not just about vintage stuff. I do a lot of things on My Great Challenge. Thank you for watching. I will talk to you later. Bye.